Good morning, guys. Welcome to my replay viewers. Thank you guys so much for jumping in, checking out my broadcast. Sorry I missed you live. I'm so glad you guys took some time to check it out. What is up to my live crew this morning? Great to see you all this morning. So glad to have you here. I appreciate you guys coming in to hang out with me on this Wednesday morning. Today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to give you guys some success hacks, some mindset hacks actually. My topic of the day today is 12 simple hacks that can absolutely improve your life and business if you apply them. I was doing some work in my office over the weekend, and I came across one of my journals from my first year in business. And this journal was packed full of just notes and thoughts and ideas and information. It's such a gem that I found this thing. And as I was just flipping through it, I came across a block of notes that I had taken at an entrepreneurial conference that I went to, and it was some of the best advice that I had noted down. And I had 12 different things that I wrote down that I've realized now I have absolutely applied in my business over the past several years, and they've made such a tremendous difference. So I'm going to share those with you this morning, and we're just going to talk through those things and figure out how we can get those, applying those in your own life and business as well. All right, so that's our topic of conversation for today. All you guys that know me, you know who I am, you know how I roll. I would love to have you hit that share button and invite your crew into the broadcast. Get anybody in here that you think may want to hang out with us and take part in this conversation this morning, all right? And then if I have anybody's brand new, if you've never seen me before, if you have no idea who I am, first of all, welcome. I would love to greet you into the broadcast and say hello. If you want to give me a hashtag first time, let me know if it's the first time you've ever seen me. I would love to say hello. My crew would love to make you feel welcome. So let me know if it is the first time you've ever joined in with us. And then lastly, guys, I very much love and appreciate every single one of you guys that's checking this out on the replay. If you are on the replay, I would love for you to know that you can comment and interact with this broadcast. I'd love for you to give me a hashtag replay. I do see those comments and I do respond to those as well, so I would love to know that you were here, all right? On that note, guys, we're going to roll because I do not waste my time and I choose not to waste yours, so let's jam. All right, y'all, that is who I am. That is what I do. Justin Kaplan Pro is my name. JustinKaplanPro.com is my website. I'm a startup business mentor and a branding strategist that specializes in helping startup entrepreneurs turn your passion, your gifting, your idea into a profitable and sustainable brand that rises up in this challenging digital marketplace to draw in the 21st century consumer that wants and needs what you have to offer. Guys, I broadcast live every single weekday morning from Tuesday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, hooking you guys up with business building tips, hacks, and principles, anything that can give it up to grow your business, expand your ministry, bring your vision to life, and grow that brand of yours online in this digital marketplace. All right, a great morning to all of you. I see y'all coming in. Jason, what's up, my man? Thanks for coming in, buddy. I appreciate you. Mike, good morning to you. Autumn, what's happening? Kim, great morning to you on Periscope. I see you. Alexis, I see you on YouTube. Appreciate y'all. Y'all are amazing. So got kind of a cool broadcast for you this morning, y'all. So I was doing some work in my office over the weekend and cleaning up some stuff and digging through some boxes, office boxes that I had not yet unpacked from our move. And I came across a journal that I had started with in my first year of business. And what a gem this thing was. Man, all the question marks. It'd be fun just to sit and just read you through this journal and just some of the stuff that I had wrote into this thing. But I was going through this journal, just some of the questions that I had and the ideas that I had and the things that I were trying to figure out. So I was having a lot of fun just kind of going through this and reading this thing. And I came across a segment of notes that I had taken from an entrepreneurial conference. And it was all about business development and a business mindset, about what it takes to develop a business mindset for success. And I had written down 12 different key, I guess I would call them mindset hacks that I had written down that I've found I've really applied over the past several years, and they've really made a tremendous impact in the way I've been able to execute and get things done in my business. I'm just going to share these things. So I'm just going to go through each of these this morning. I'm just going to share these with you because I think there's such powerful lessons. No matter what season your business is in, whether you've been at it for years or whether you're brand new, just getting started up, every single one of these things can absolutely apply. And I think it's such good wisdom. Each one of these comes from successful entrepreneurs that I had learned from and gathered basically some advice from some people that I really looked up to, and it's just solid business advice from people that have succeeded and done it right. So I'm just gonna share each of these with you this morning. Monty, what's up, brother? Thanks for coming in. I love what you're doing, Monty. By the way, man, you're killing it right now. Kelly, good morning to you. Thanks for coming in. I'm gonna start you out with business mindset definition. I actually wrote this down in my notes. I wrote down the definition of a business mindset. What is that? That's what I wrote down. I said a business mindset is a way of thinking that enables you to uncover and see problems as opportunities and then turning those opportunities into a business. It is an understanding that everything around us is a result of someone having an idea and then executing it. Isn't that good? Like, I'm going to read it again. A business mindset is a way of thinking that enables you to uncover and see problems as opportunities and then turning those opportunities into a business. It is an understanding that everything around us is the result of someone having an idea and executing it. I love that. I just really love it. All right, so let me go into these. I have 12 things, and each of these 12 things are just kind of a global thought as well as a piece of advice that I took away from 12 different influential leaders in business. All right. Number one is believe in yourself and what you're doing. And the advice that I got on this one was from Todd Garland, who's the founder of BuySellAds. Said you have to be resilient and able to continue building what you believe is your next best thing. Things you build will often not succeed, but ultimately those losses will add up to a win based upon what you've learned. Can anybody relate to that? Like, I can so relate to that. And this funny thing is when I took this advice, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize how true that advice really, really was. That you have to be resilient and able to continue building what you believe is your next best thing. And there's a lot of things that you think are going to be great, and they're going to fall flat on their face. There's some stuff that you're going to come up with that's just going to straight suck. Nobody's going to care. But that's okay, because you're still trying. And I'm a firm believer that if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. If you're not experiencing failure on a pretty frequent basis, you're not making big enough moves. You've got to try some stuff. And so this thing that Todd says things that you build will often not succeed, but ultimately those losses will add up to a win based upon what you've learned. I have learned way more from the areas that I've failed than from the things I've succeeded in. Can anybody agree with that? Like, man, I've tried some stuff and I've done some things. I've done some things really well, and I've done some things that really panned out well. But there's some stuff that I just was like, man, that was a crash and a burn. But from everything that I have done wrong, I've learned something from that, and eventually I've learned enough. Eventually, you do enough of the things wrong, you'll learn enough stuff to be like, all right, now I'm going to get this one right, and then you'll finally find a gem. So I love this piece about things that you build will often not succeed, but ultimately those losses will add up to a win based upon what you've learned. The problem with a lot of entrepreneurs, the problem with a lot of startup businesses is that they get so emotionally attached to what they're creating and what they're doing that the first time they throw something out there, they expect it to be a massive success, and then when it's not, they give up because they're so emotionally attached to it. And you can't. You've got to develop a thicker skin than that. And you've got to be willing to be like, you know what? I gave that my all. I put it out there. It didn't pan out the way I thought it would. Okay, let's reset. Let's adjust. What do I need to learn from this? How do we do it differently? And how can I come out with something next time? All right, it's very important. Believe in yourself and your business, and don't be so willing to give up at the first time you see failure. All right. Number two is thinking 3 steps ahead. I've gotten really good at this in my business, and I think it's so important. I learned this from Jesse Sternhouse, who's the founder of the Improve Effect. Jesse says, I follow my gut. I don't play chess, but I imagine that if I did, I would think of every opportunity 3 steps ahead in every possible direction. Even if it seems like something would benefit me in the now, it might not benefit me in the long run. And you'll play chess. I actually really like chess. I love playing chess, and when I think about playing chess, playing chess is very much about trying to think of moves, several moves ahead, and trying to anticipate what your opponent is going to do. And that's such a business model. It really is. You really have to be thinking about the moves that you're going to make, and then you have to anticipate how those moves are going to be received, and how your market and how your audience is going to respond to those moves, and then what move you're going to make from there. That's very, very important. And a lot of people, that's why I think I like this point that Jesse makes about, even if it seems like something would benefit me in the now, it might not benefit me in the long run. So when you're making moves in your business and you're thinking about your next step that you want to take, yeah, you want to think about, is this going to work out for me now? Is this going to be good for me now? Or it may be good for me just now, but it may not be good for me in the long run. Like, for example, I got a client right now that I was talking to him yesterday, and they had a launch plan for the end of this week. I think it's Friday. And they've been planning this for the past 3 months. And based upon what they're selling and what they're going to put out in the marketplace, I feel very strongly that they need to wait. Because I feel like you're not going to be able to ride the momentum of this launch now the way you would have if the economy was roaring and everybody's out of lockdown. I just feel like you need to wait. And they said to me, well, Justin, I really, really need the income. And I'm like, I get that. But you've only got one shot at a first impression. You only got one shot at letting this cat out of the bag. As soon as the cat's out of the bag, it's over. Because anytime you bring something new to the market, it's got to have some it's going to have momentum with it. So, do you want to give yourself? Do you want to use up the opportunity now for a quick small gain, or do you want to hold on to the opportunity and reschedule it for a better time to get a massive, more relevant gain down the road? That's what I'm talking about. Even if it seems like something might benefit me now, it might not benefit me in the long run. So making moves, thinking 3 steps ahead, you really have to play chess with your business and be thinking about what steps you're going to take, how your market is going to respond to that, and how you're going to adjust accordingly. All right? Number 3 is doing the hard things first. Good morning, Nicole. Thanks for coming in, girl. Keith, great morning to you, brother. I appreciate you. In case you guys are coming in late, y'all, what I'm going through this morning is I found a journal, and I was doing some work in my office of a whole bunch of notes that I had taken in my first year of business. And these notes are little pieces and nuggets of advice that I had taken from entrepreneurs that I looked up to, business owners that I was learning from, and some of the most relevant and significant tips and advice that I received early on in my business that was so influential in who I am and what I've done so far. So that's what we're reading through. Number 3 is do the hardest things first. Any of y'all do that? That sucks. That's a discipline, but it's such a good discipline. Whenever you're doing something, if you're ever struggling with what to do, ask yourself, what's the hardest thing? I'm going to read this advice that I wrote down from Josh Pigford, who's the founder of Barometrics. Josh says the hardest thing is usually the thing that you should be doing. The hardest thing is usually the thing you should be going after. Whenever you are unsure of what you should be doing, ask yourself, what's the hardest thing? And has a very high likelihood of being the right thing. I'm going to say that again. The hardest thing is usually the thing that you should be going after. Whenever you are unsure of what you should be doing, ask yourself, what's the hardest thing? And that has a very high likelihood of being the right thing. This is something I've learned over my years of being in business. I've learned this through myself as well as through clients and people that I've worked with. Entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs, have a very high tendency of getting distracted in their day-to-day operations and can spend a significant amount of time on meaningless tasks while the key priorities in their business sit in waiting. Because a lot of people really struggle to go after those big things. Great. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate you, girl. Have a beautiful day. So, doing the hard things first. If you're asking yourself today, what should I be working on today? Really ask yourself, what's the hardest thing in my path right now? What's the hardest thing on my plate? And that has a very high likelihood of being the right thing that needs your attention right now. Because it's very easy just to go to the easy. go to the mundane, go to the simple, go to the meaningless, just to make yourself feel like you're being busy. Because it's really what it is about. Is a lot of people struggle with the big stuff, so then they're like, well, I'll just work on this. Let me work on organizing my office, even though I organized it last week. Let me reorganize it again. Let me spend some time on YouTube learning some information. Let me brainstorm and take some notes on this. Let me clean up my email. It's all meaningless stuff. It's all good stuff. But if that's all you ever do, it becomes meaningless activity. At some point in time, you gotta eat the frog. You gotta get out there and you gotta do the thing that matters. All right. So do the hard things first. Number four is create your own look. This is a piece of advice that I took from Russ Perry, who's the founder of Design Pickle. Russ says, so-called lucky people aren't necessarily getting more advantages than other people. The universe doesn't favor them, but they're putting themselves out there more. They're creating more connections that could lead to other things. That is really how I interpret luck, creating more of a mathematical probability that you're going to get what you want. That's how I look at sharing content. Good morning, Maddie. I see you, girl. Great morning to you. That's how I look at. That's why I'm so consistent. I'll say that. One of the compliments that I receive all the time, and I've received it for years, is that, man, Justin, you're like a machine. You're consistent. You're here every single day. You're here at the same time every single day. You've stood the test of time. When other people have fallen off, you've kept on going. It's a matter of trust. I've established a lot of trust and rapport by my willingness to always be here, and people trust that I'm going to be around, in the future. But beyond that, one of the reasons why I'm able to continue building business and attract clients is because I'm continue creating opportunity to do so. That's why I say I'm not lucky. I'm not lucky that I'm attracting new clients. I'm blessed and highly favored is what I am, and I love the Lord Jesus Christ with all my heart, and that has a lot to do with it. But when I think about if people look at me and they're like, well, just you're so lucky. You're so lucky that you have an online business. You can still make money while this whole thing is going on. You can still attract clients. You're still generating income. I'm like, not lucky. I'm intentional. I'm not getting lucky today. I've been doing this for 5 straight years, being out here doing this thing. So I'm not being lucky. I'm creating more of a mathematical probability that I'm going to be able to do what I need to do and attract what I need to attract because I've been out here doing it. This is why I push that button with all you guys that are content creators, and I'm like, get out there. Stop worrying about what your lighting looks like, what your background looks like, what the perfect message looks like, what your call to action looks like. Just get out there and start sharing your information. Start being a teacher of your knowledge. Start connecting with people, helping people, making connections. Because the more opportunity you create for yourself, the more you have a mathematical probability that you're going to be able to gain some business from it. There's a quote by, I don't know who it is. It's probably Michael Jordan that says, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Well, some of y'all aren't taking any shots, but you're waiting for something to land in the basket. You're wanting to win the game, but you haven't even stepped on the court. You got to get out there and play, y'all. You got to get out there and take some shots. That's number 4. Number 5 is the growth mindset. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. I learned this from Guy Kawasaki. If you believe somehow you're set to a certain capability and level of accomplishment, then you will never achieve anything more. However, if you believe you can get better and do more things, that growth mindset will enable you to accomplish anything you put your mind to. It's the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. Fixed mindset has you believing that you're stuck in your circumstances, that you can't do more because of your upbringing, because of your race, because of your financial status, because of your job, because of your marriage, because of where you live, because of that thing that you did, because of your background, because you've been to jail before, because you don't have a degree, because you didn't graduate high school. That is bullcrap. Every one of them. Like, you know what? I would challenge you, whatever it is that you are wanting to do, whatever it is you are passionate about doing, I challenge you to write down on a piece of paper, I can't because, and go ahead and drop down every single lie that you have in your mind about why you can't do that thing, why you can't start a business, why you can't start over, why you can't do more, why you can't seem to get out of always having a red bank account, why you can't seem to break that financial threshold, why you can't seem to get to that next level in your business. That's a belief. that you have. You believe you can't. That's a fixed mindset. And you believe you can't because of your fixed circumstances. A growth mindset is, I can do this. It doesn't matter what I've been through. My past does not define my future. It just my current situation is not my defining moment. My current situation just defines where I start from. Where do I go from here? A growth mindset is establishing a belief system that you are possible. And then anything that you put your mind to is possible. And that's not fluffy. You know what? I remember the first time someone really told me that. The first time someone told me that, I don't think I heard it from Guy Kawasaki the first time. I think when I heard this for the first time, I looked up who originated that thought, and Guy was very strong in that realm. But I remember the first time I heard someone teaching on growth mindset versus fixed mindset, and it rattled me because I have been through some stuff in my life. I had made some mistakes. I had done a lot wrong, and I had this weight hanging on me that I couldn't be who I wanted to be because of my past. And that's just straight bull. Someone want to call bullcrap on that in the chat stream? Feel free if you want to throw that down. Hashtag bullcrap. That's bull, y'all. All those lies, that's just a lie from the pit of hell. That's Satan trying to be like, you know what? Let me just swallow you. Let me just swallow you with doubt and insecurity and fear of rejection and low self-esteem and condemnation. Let me just swallow you with condemnation and get you thinking that you can't, because that's bullcrap. And some of y'all need to call the devil out on that today. You need to shed that today, because every single one of y'all is possible. Every single one of y'all has a gift, a talent, and ability that the Lord has specifically given you to be who He has designed you to be. And I know that because I know my Father. My Father says in Jeremiah 29:11 that I have a plan to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. That passion that you have inside of you, that gifting that you have inside of you, that desire that you have inside of you, that was given to you by the Lord. And He will equip you to do everything that He has called you to do. But it's just whose voice you're going to listen to. Whose report are you going to believe? Are you going to believe the Lord and His word and what He says in this book about what you're able to do? Or are you going to believe the lies and the garbage that Satan is feeding you with and trying to bring up all your past and all your stuff and all your junk and all your baggage? Nuh-uh. Growth mindset is number 5. We're going to keep going, y'all. Number 6 is your business will never be worse than it is today. This was encouraging to me. I wrote this down. I actually really loved it. This is from Andrea Lake, who's the founder of a company called Sticker Junkie. And Andrea says, I think we count our achievements too soon. Some people think we'll be rich on the first day their website is online. There's a much better perspective. Think about this. The first day that your website is up, it will look the worst that it is ever going to look. It is the worst product offering you'll ever have, because you will always improve from there. And it's kind of funny when you think about it, but I'm like, to me, that's encouraging. It really is. I'm like, you know what? I will never be greener than I am today. I will never be as unprepared as I am today. I'll never be no matter where you are, whether you've been at it forever or whether you're brand new, everything you put your hand to, you can always say, you know what? I will never be worse at this than I am today, because every day I will get better. Every day I will learn. That first time you do a broadcast, I took this to the bank. The first time I did a broadcast, I remembered this when I first broadcast, because I was so scared and so nervous and so insecure about broadcasting. And I was like, well, the good thing is I can only go up from here because it can't get any worse than this. I can't be any less prepared. But this thing is, every expert was once a beginner. Every pro was once an amateur. No one started at a high level. No one started out as a master. Nobody hits success on their first try. I don't care who they are. I don't care how many stories you read. Nobody struck success on their first try. Nobody. It's just some cases all we see is the tip of the iceberg. You don't see the work that went into it. You don't see the stress, the failure, the sweat, the tears, the struggle, the almost losing it, the almost giving up. Many of y'all know my story about my business the past 5 years. I've almost quit 6 times in the past 5 years for a variety of different reasons. All significant pressure and adversity, but every single time I went back to my why, about why I started in the first place. And I'm like, I'm gonna keep going. I got to. I can't not keep going. But that stuff I had to work through. I had to work through some stuff. There's some shedding that happens with you when you build a business. But your business will never be worse than it is today. Number 7 is don't struggle with failure. Don't struggle with failure. Seth Godin says there's a difference between failure and your struggle with failure. You do not have to struggle with failure. That is a choice on your part. If you accept the fact that the person who fails the most wins, you can also accept that putting good effort into something that fails is a key part of your job. I love that last sentence. If you accept the fact that the person who fails the most wins, you can also accept that putting good effort into something that fails is a key part of the job. That's why I have a low tolerance for whining. I have a low tolerance for complaining. My clients know this, I think. Like, if you tried something, if you went all in, you gave it everything that you had, and it didn't pan out, now is not the time to cry. Okay, so it didn't work. So what? What do we do then? What do we do next then? I mean, that's just business. It is. You just have to move up, move on. Y'all with me? I know Joanne agrees with me. Like there's no crying in baseball, as Tom Hanks would say. There's no crying in business. Yeah, there is crying in business, but not in this sense. All right? If you try something, you give it your all, and you put something out there and it fails, so what? You did the work. You tried something. You put something out there. So when you try something and it doesn't work, okay, what do I learn from this? What do I learn from this? You can accept the fact that putting good effort into something that fails is a part of the job. That's in the contract when you sign up to be an entrepreneur. That comes with the territory. Not every day is going to be a good day. Not everything that you put out there is going to work. But there's gems buried in that effort, man. There's gems buried in that resolve that you have to keep going. Keep trying. Keep reinventing yourself. Because you know what's so crazy? Is when I look back, and I was thinking about this particular one, I was looking through my notes, and I was looking through my journal, and I was thinking back to where I was when I wrote this journal 5 years ago, and where I am now, and I'm like, man, I had no idea what I was in for. Some of the stuff that I was going to try. If I could just go talk to myself and be like, just don't do that. That was not a good one. That was a bad one. We need to stay away from that one. But do that sooner. But I think about some of the greatest wins, some of the biggest successes that I've had in my business have been, the idea has been birthed out of the failure of something else. Can anybody else relate to that? Like some of my gems, man. Some of my greatest moneymakers, some of the most significant things in my business have been birthed out of the failure of something else. Some of them also, some of the greatest things in my life, some of the greatest things in my business have not necessarily been birthed out of the failure of something else, but they have been birthed out of a season of adversity. This is a season of adversity that we're in right now. This pandemic, this lockdown. I called this a month ago, and I said this yesterday. I'll say it again. I'm like, you know what's going to happen? There's a lot that's going to happen over the course of these next few months as we shift through this unique season that we're in. But I'm like, there's going to be some tremendous opportunity that people are going to find that they're going to rise up with. There's going to be new businesses created. Did you know that there has never in our lifetime been more billionaires created than the last Great Depression, because people found opportunity and they capitalized on that. And that's what has happened with me, where when you go through an adverse time, when you go through a struggle, it forces you to think differently. It forces you to put your focus and your attention on things that may not otherwise have gotten your focus and attention because you were so busy being busy. Joanne says it's called Riding the Waves. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a lesson worth laminating. Absolutely it is. It's so important to understand, y'all. So important. So number 7 is don't struggle with failure. If you accept the fact that the person who fails the most wins, you can also accept that putting good effort into something that fails is a key part of your job. Timothy, good morning, sir. Thanks for coming in, man. Number 8 is embrace obstacles. Embrace obstacles. Learn this from a guy named Brian Smith, who's the founder of a boot company in Montana. Brian says, you don't climb straight from nothing to something big. You will hit obstacles, climb over those, and reach the next level of the plateau. You cross the line again, cross another obstacle, climb to the next level again. The more you do that, the more you will look back and realize how far you've come. It's all about overcoming each obstacle as it hits and continuing moving up and forward. Just because this is important to understand, and I didn't really get this. I get it way more now than I did then when I wrote this down. I didn't really get this. But you're gonna go through seasons in your business, man. I mean, I think about, like, where are we? April? 6 months ago. 6 months ago, I was at the peak, the highest, tallest peak I've ever been in my business. Even 4, 5, 6 months ago. Just great success in my business, and just, I mean, momentum like crazy. And then I couldn't even have imagined that 4 months later we'd be in this position. But you know what I think about, man? I am so thankful that I did the things that I knew I needed to do then so that I would be okay now. Because I'm like, man, I mean, as we've gone through these seasons, I've looked back and been like, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I waited on that. I'm so glad I went all in on that, even though I didn't know how that was all going to pan out. But you're going to go through seasons, man. You're going to have some ups. You're going to have some ups. You're going to have some great wins. You're going to experience some stuff. But then you got to be aware that you're not going to ride that happy train forever. Some adversity is going to come again. And you have to dig your heels again in. And you're going to have to get focused again. You have to reinvent again. You're going to have to launch something new, get creative again. You're never going to go through a season in your business where you just get to success and ride it there. There's been, I mean, you think about this pandemic, you think about people that were at the top of the kings and queens of industry that are destroyed right now. Man, I was reading a story a week ago or so about a multi-billionaire in Texas. It's been too long since I read the story, so I can't give you all the specifics. But I'm gonna try to give you as close as I can. I was reading about this multi-billionaire, king of his industry. He owns a sports team. I can't remember which one. I think it was a baseball team. Owns a baseball team. Owns 2 casinos in Vegas. Owns an entire franchise, multiple chains of restaurants. Owns a hotel chain as well, a nationwide hotel chain. Just he's got like 20,000 employees, billions and billions in net worth. And over the course of 30 days, his casinos got shut down, his restaurants got closed, his hotels are vacant, nobody's there, his sports team is shut down, nobody's in the stands, everything that he had is shut down, and his net worth is spiraling like a skydive. Like, he's gone from being a multi-billionaire to being, his net worth has dropped from like 200, I don't remember what it is. I'm not going to give you the number. It was something in the high billions to now it's middle millions. Like he's lost like 80% of his net worth in 30 days. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But you know what? He didn't. I don't know the guy, but I know this. If he's got that level of success, he didn't get there by chance. He didn't get there in one day. I imagine that he is a smart man, and despite what he's just gone through in 30 days, he's going to dig his heels in, and he's going to pull himself out of it, and he's going to be just fine. It's probably going to take a while for him to get back up to where he was. But you know what? In January, in the new year, he was thinking this is going to be 2020. It's going to be a brand new year of opportunity. You know, looking forward to everything that he had to look forward to. And then in a blink, all of a sudden, this happens. So that's, you have to be so aware that obstacles are going to come. But the obstacles will really test your resolve. And they'll really show you what kind of person you are. Let's keep going. I just got a couple left for you. Number 9. I really want you to get this, and I wrote this down. I highlighted it. I underlined it because, and you know what? I realized that I kept going back to this note multiple times in my first year because I had to keep reminding myself of this. All right, and I would love, you can put this in the chat room if you want. Entrepreneurship is a choice. Entrepreneurship is a choice, and you have to keep choosing it every day. Because some days are really tough. Some days are really tough, and you're gonna go through some stuff. And so I wrote this thought down from a man named Stelly Efty, who's the founder of Close.io. Stelly says, when a baby is learning to walk, they constantly fall over, but that doesn't make them want to stop trying. They don't think, that's it, I'm done with walking. I look stupid, everybody's laughing at me, I'm just gonna crawl from now on. As human beings, we're not naturally afraid of looking stupid or falling. We get educated into that. You're going to get knocked over. You might have some people laugh at you. You might feel stupid. You're going to struggle with some stuff. But you have to, entrepreneurship is a choice from the beginning. And it has to continue being a choice every single day. You have to choose it every single day. And you really have to choose it on the days where you just don't feel like it. Because that's when you have to realize, you know what? I'm never going to learn to walk if I keep falling over and stay down. You got to get back up. You got to get back up and keep trying. Number 10, I love this one too, is be a painkiller, not a vitamin. Be a painkiller. Somebody put that in the chat stream for me, will you please? Be a painkiller, not a vitamin. Matt Barr, who's the founder of freelancer.com, Matt says, everyone, no matter who they are, has a problem that they need solved. When we have a toothache, we want a painkiller, not a vitamin, and we're willing to pay for it. Don't be a vitamin, be a painkiller in your business. It's so true though, right? Be a painkiller, not a vitamin. When people have a pain point, they don't want a vitamin, they want a painkiller. They want someone to take the pain away. Be a painkiller. Look in your audience. Look at the people that you serve. Look at the skill sets that you have. And ask yourself, what pains do people have that I have a painkiller for? Be the person that's constantly finding ways to solve people's problems. That's the quickest, most effective way to build a successful business. Is find a problem and create a solution for it. Find a problem, create a solution for it. Number 11, 2 left for you, and then we're going to get you out of here, right, guys? Number 11 is avoid the entrepreneurial gap. Avoid the entrepreneurial gap. The entrepreneurial gap is what's between today's goal and the horizon. Horizon is what you see out in the future, okay? If you look back at your achievements and consider how far you've come, you will stay out of the gap. However, if you're always walking towards the horizon, looking at the horizon without turning around and recognizing how far you've come, you will never feel fulfilled. Ultimate success is a fine line between goals and accomplishment. I actually love that quote. I've used that last quote a lot of times. Ultimate success is a fine line between goals and accomplishment. The point here, y'all, is don't get so caught up in constantly chasing what's hasn't yet to come that you don't stop and pause for a second and look back and be like, look at what I've done. Look where I've been. Look what I've accomplished. Look at how I've grown. I had to challenge one of my clients on this earlier in the year where they were looking back at 2019 and they were saying, Justin, I thought I would be so much farther along than I am. I'm not here yet. I'm not there yet. I don't have this done yet. I don't have this income yet. I don't have this yet. And I'm like, but look at you. Think about who you were 12 months ago. How much has your confidence changed? Your attitude changed? Your ability to navigate through your weeks and your days with priorities and a schedule and a routine. Your discipline has improved. Your mindset has grown in tremendous leaps. Your relationships have improved. You made new connections. You're trying things. You're doing things. You're creating things. You're operating as a business owner. This is one of the things that I've been very firm about as I built my businesses. I don't just build businesses. I build business owners. Because a lot of people want to start a business, but they themselves are not ready to run a business. So I can't teach you how to run a business until I ensure that you're the business owner that business is going to require. Amen? So avoiding the entrepreneurial gap is challenging yourself not to be so caught up in chasing what you haven't yet acquired that you don't stop and look back and be like, look at what I have accomplished, and recognizing that and being aware of that, because ultimate success is a fine line between goals and accomplishment. Number 12, last one, is to know enough to be dangerous. Know enough to be dangerous. This one is from Donnie Sanchez, who's he's the best boss I ever had, my favorite boss I ever had. Incredible mentor in my life. He's amazing. I remember when I stepped into my first high-level leadership role, and Donnie said to me, I was asking him all the questions. Donnie, how do I do this? What if I'm the leader now? I'm the boss now. What if somebody asks me a question that I can't answer? What if a situation comes up and I don't know how to solve it? What if I get faced with this and I'm not sure what decision to make? And I was just being transparent and real and asking him these questions. And he said to me this, and I wrote this down. He said, Justin, you don't need to be a master of everything. What you do need to be is a leader who knows just enough to be dangerous. Leverage your skills, leverage your resources, and then get really good at asking the right questions with everything else. And that was such a comfort to me to realize, you know what? I don't have to know everything. You don't have to know everything. No matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, every one of us have gifts and abilities. Every one of us have knowledge, but there's some stuff that we just don't know. And I think it's so good to think about, how can I make sure that I educate myself just enough to be dangerous? Just enough to know how to ask the right questions. Just enough to know how to look for the right things, see the right circumstances, and then work with what I've got, leverage the resources that I have, and then if there's something that I don't know, ask questions. This was such a comfort for me when I started coaching people, because I mean, as I was thinking about this for myself, I'm like, and some of y'all may be nervous about this as well. Some of y'all may be like, yeah, I really want to build an online business, but what happens if someone asks me a question I can't answer? That's okay. Because I don't think any one of us expect anyone to be a know-it-all. What I look for and what I do expect is honesty and transparency. So if I ask someone a question and they don't know the answer, I don't want you to try to make one up. I want you to just tell me, I'm not sure. But you know what? I can find you that answer. Is it all right if I check in with you later and give you that response? Absolutely. I highly respect that. The other thing too is, like, as a coach, when you're coaching someone, if someone has got a problem and they're coming to you for a solution, one of the best ways to solve that problem is to help them come to their own conclusion. So you just get really good at asking them questions, because you know what I believe? I believe that most of our answers are already inside of us. It's already inside of us. It just has to be uncovered. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate you, buddy. All right, so know enough to be dangerous. That's the last one. Guys, I have so many notes here. I don't have a way to give you this summary, but hopefully that was good for you. I'm going to let you get on for the day. That's what I got for you today. I appreciate your time. We've been on here for 45 minutes, so I'm going to let you go. Listen, I think is very important. This is going to be my call to action for you today. My call to action for you is to make yourself a journal of advice. Give yourself for like the next 12 months. For this season right now, this is a journal of advice. I mean, this is what I wrote down. This was some of the best things that I could really keep my mind grounded on. And I had it just in a segment in my journal, because every time I faced a bad day, every time I had a struggle, I would go back to my journal and I would go through these things and read through them. And it would remind me of who I am, what I'm doing, what I'm facing, what I'm building, and to choose entrepreneurship every single day, to get outside of my own head and to focus on the things that I could control today. And so I think it's important to have those things down. So I challenge you to make your own journal of advice. You can use some of the ones that I gave you today, but maybe you look up some of your own business advice. Maybe it's spiritual advice, maybe it's marriage advice, maybe it's stuff for your kids. It doesn't have to necessarily be for business, it can be for anything, but I challenge you to do that today. All right, that's what I got for you guys today. I appreciate y'all are amazing. I know 46 minutes of your time is so valuable, so I appreciate you spending your time with me this morning. Guys, have a beautiful day. Be intentional with your time today. Be intentional with that talent that you have, and I'll see you guys all around the web. All right, take care. God bless. I'll see you guys later.